Leadership, a balance of self-determination and compassion for others. Qualities clearly focused in Kennebunk High senior Liam Crotty.
I like to show them that there's, to show them the bright side of things. It's nothing really that you could change with the whole world, but with the people around me. I figure that's, if you help one person.
Once this is lined up, you can take
honors academically, athletically, and in the realm of public service, ranking Eagle Scout and beyond. Credited with an instrumental role in saving the life of his scout leader during a hiking excursion last summer.
The Atlantic Ocean is to the south of us when you're in Kennebunk. Now, if you want to pick another
Liam Crotty, a young man who has mastered some very difficult ropes and moved on to share those skills with others. A remarkable young man, Channel 6 takes pride in honoring with an America's Future Award. Congratulations, Liam.
And of course, Liam Crotty joins me now on the line, and he would love to hear from you. And I want to give you those telephone numbers if I can. It's 772-0183 or 1-800-482-9633. You can see them on the screen. And Liam, I guess something that struck me as I've watched the story that we just saw, and as I've talked to people about you, the word leader just keeps coming up over and over again in athletics and academics, working with young people. And I want to know where that spark of leadership or that drive to excel comes from.
I guess it's basically, well, a lot of it's been from my mother. She's helped out a lot. She's just basically encouraged me with everything I've done, which helps out quite a bit. It's amazing what you wouldn't be able to do without the encouragement from someone else and positive attitude. Also, I just like basically have my own goal, and a lot of this leadership and things that I do through it, either it's the scouting or working for the class at the high school or just whatever, anything I can do to help out. I enjoy it, and it pleases me.
You mentioned in the story that we just saw that it's hard to think about changing the whole world, but if you can just help with the people around you. And I know that you saved the life of your scoutmaster. Can you tell us that story?
It was about a year and 2 months ago, and there were 11 scouts and a scoutmaster hiking in the White Mountains. And the scoutmaster my scoutmaster, Peter Bird, went up on a trail by himself, and he fell off a cliff and rolled down a mountainside. And at that point, we were all just standing there, all the scouts and I. And so I ran down to him, and when I got to him, he wasn't breathing, and he had a huge puncture wound in his lower back that was bleeding a lot. So at that point, along with another scout, Josh Netto, we performed CPR on him, and I had to perform not mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but it was mouth-to-nose resuscitation because his mouth wouldn't open. It was locked shut, and then I did that for a little while until his mouth opened up, and then I did mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for a little while, and until he gained his consciousness.
When you have interactions with him at this point, what are they like? Is he...
By now, a little over a year after, I basically don't think about it. It just doesn't come to mind. The first time I saw him after the accident was really hard for me to deal with.
Why is that?
Well, it was in a whole other environment. I went to see him in the hospital the next day, and it was scary to think that how things would be if he had died.
This man could have died.
Right. It was just hard to deal with that. But as time went on, it just got easier, and I talked to him as I always had been before, and now it's just, I see him very frequently, and things are just as normal.
Well, Liam is more than willing to take your phone call, so please don't hesitate to call. We would love to hear from you. I have another question. It's sort of a tough one for me to ask. I want to start off by saying I've done a lot of work for the Girl Scouts in Boston before I moved here, and so I value what scouting programs do. But is there any peer pressure or sometimes any teasing because you, at an older age than Cub Scouts and Brownies, still belong to a group that can sometimes be considered kind of straight by other kids in the high school?
It's sort of the reverse, I think. As time has gone on, it's gotten easier, and I've had less peer pressure or less comments from my friends because they know that I'm active in it and they've accepted it, and they just, you know, they don't bother me about it. And by this time, I just, you know, people realize it and they respect me for it.
I was going to say, I bet they have a great deal of respect for you.
Yeah, they do now.
Let's look at these lines lined up. Let's take a call. Hello, you're not on the line. We'll try another one. Hello, you're on the line. Your comment or question, please?
Yes, I wondered if you would ask young Mr. Crotty how many...
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Would you ask Mr. Crotty how many young people he had with him at the time, and does he teach CPR for the Red Cross?
Or how did you learn it, in fact? Let's take some of those. You had 11 scouts with you, or 9?
Yeah, including me, there were 11 scouts and the scoutmaster.
Okay, and then how did you learn CPR?
Some of it I learned through, I've taken life-saving courses. The Red Cross offers swimming and life-saving courses, and I've had training in that, and also along with the scouts. Along with the scouting, there have been different opportunities for me to learn CPR.
And then do you teach it to other kids or through the...
I haven't gotten to the point where I actually teach it, because a lot of it you have to go away to a camp for during the summer, Camp Hines, and you learn a lot of training there, so I haven't gotten to the point where I teach it now.
All right, let's take one more caller quickly. Hello, you're on the line. Your comment or question, please?
What happened when the scoutmaster fell off the cliff?
What happened? I think we kind of covered that, don't you? Just...
Basically, yeah. Is there anything else they wanted to know?
Well, we probably cut them off if you want to know the truth, Liam. I pressed the
Okay.
button there because I thought we'd already covered that. But I have one final question for you, and that is, we've talked about your leadership capabilities. I want to know if what you've chosen to do as your life work is something that will require leadership skills.
Well, what I plan on doing is studying economics when I go to college.
Okay.
I don't know how I would use my leadership along with that.
I guarantee you will find a
Okay.
way. All right. Thank you very, very much for joining us, and congratulations to you on this award. When we come back, do you know how to react to medical emergency situations? Well, some kids from Shakopee certainly do, so stay with us.